Good Tuesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, the motorcycles, the tractors. Yeah, the tractors, the dogs, the Kiefer dog. Oh boy, come on, chill out. Hey, good morning there. Happy Tuesday morning to you on this other beautiful day here up in the Northern Virginia area. Appreciate all the subscribers checking in and listening to my yabba dabba doo and my antics and my addictions and my problems and my challenges of life. Yeah, I think we all can relate with that, right? So, besides maybe getting my tractor sold and maybe me buying a tractor, I don't know. The gentleman from Glad Hill Tractor is supposed to come out and give me a value on my nice 4040 44R cab John Deere tractor, which I don't know, I got mixed feelings of letting that go. And if you watch my channel, you kind of know that story from yesterday. Going out and about, and then you probably know the story, me going to the Harley dealer and looking at a Pan America because, what is it, Rush Green? I think that's Green Rush. Sorry if I get it backwards. Lots of subscribers out there. He's watching my channel, and he's pushing the heck out of me to get a Pan America instead of a Tiger. So I figured, you know what? Let's go check it out. Come here, pups. Get over here. Let's check out the, hey, Kiefer! Let's check out the Pan America. Come on, baby. Come on. Kiefer! Kiefer, leave her alone. You just leave her alone. Come on, get in it. So anyways, I went to the venture yesterday, checking one out. And, they're nice. Come on, Kiefer, get in here. You guys can run around, get worn out. But Jesus Christ. Hey, just chill out. Let's get you in the barn here. And it's not too cold this morning. And I tell you, man, just too much information, right? Who doesn't know those stories? Just too much information. So, anyways, and then I think to myself, what are we going to talk about? It's always a constant challenge of bringing content to the guy that just works out of his shop, that tries to keep others entertained with sharing ideas and views. And we talked about the bankruptcy yesterday, and I thought today we could talk about the go on, get up there. We could talk about the wealth conversations. Come on, get up there, go on. We could get the, I wonder if Kiefer went. Huh, maybe he's in the bathroom. Lights, camera, action. So I thought we could talk about wealth. We haven't talked about that. And I thought it'd be pretty cool because it kind of follows in line from the opposite to the opposite, being the bankruptcy. Come on, my KB boy. Conversations. So let's get him. Oh boy, there he's here. The welcoming crew, right? So, yeah. The constant addictions of buying something, changing it up. Oh, I caught the mouse. These little guys have really been escaping. I just haven't really been working on them lately. So, oh wow, I got two of them. Ha! 2. Did I get 3? No. Where's the third one? But did I bait it? I thought I did. I didn't bait it? Can't believe it. Oh, well. Anyways, caught some mice as they're hanging out here in the shop. So, yeah, so what are we talking about? We're talking about the wealth conversations. But before we get into all of that, I was saying it, I'm getting ready to buy a new John Deere tractor, 3046. And it's just crazy when I'm out and about traveling in my travels, when I'm one place and all over the place. And how I just stumbled upon the dealer up the way from me in Maryland that has a 3046 cab. I really do like the cab tractors. A lot of people watch my channel and be like, why would you get rid of this really nice tractor? Well, I really don't want to, but it's a pretty good sized tractor, and I'm really wanting to go back to cutting the grass on a tractor. So this here is the 2025R mower deck, which is a 54-inch deck, I think. Maybe it's a 60, so it is a 60-inch deck. And that's a nice setup, but it's a little small. I'd like a little bigger deck if I could. And that's the 2025R, and it's an open station tractor, and it's a narrow chassis. But this here, you really can't put a mower deck under this thing. I guess you could, but it's a lot of tractor, and I would just rather not do that. So what I'm trying to accomplish is I'm going to get a little smaller tractor, the 3000 series. And what's really cool about that tractor is the air ride seat. That's huge. When you go through all these bumps, you don't know till you ride around these tractors, lawnmowers, how bumpy this property is. So what I'm thinking is I get rid of this, and this is worth a lot of money, and I get the other tractor, and now I've got a belly mower tractor and a bucket and a cab tractor. It's a little smaller platform, but for the most part what I'm doing is more than big enough for the property that I have. And I think that's the direction I may go, as long as he gives me a good number on it and it makes sense. But for someone watching my channel, it probably doesn't make much sense. Well, my idea is I'm going to probably sell one of my zero-turn mowers. I have two of those. I'll let the daughter kind of cut the grass with that zero-turn mower by diesel, and I'll sell my gas one. And then I'm cutting in the big old tractor with the nice air conditioning or the heat, and I'm nice and comfortable, and I'm out of the environment. Until you get those zero-turn lawnmowers, you just don't get how much debris and how noisy those things are, and how they just really beat you up. I mean, they really do. And so that's what I'm weighing my option at. But these tractors have become so expensive. It's incredible on how my tractor in 2017 was like $44,000. And that Sam tractor, well, I'm putting a belly mower under it, so that's a good amount of money added. But that smaller tractor now is like $65,000. It's just incredible. So the wealth conversations so radiate more than ever in our life. You have to be, in so many ways, very wealthy today to be able to buy things more than ever. And I live in such the false economy county and area, because it's all the DC-based government money that's shoveled out to so many people in this area that are extremely wealthy, because it's the government's money being handed out to so many businesses. And this area just is very resilient, and you just see tons of Teslas, and you see all the Porsches and BMWs and all the Broncos. I mean, you see all the very high-end, expensive vehicles. And so this area can just make you have a false sense that everybody, has this type of wealth, even though more than ever, I think there is so much wealth out there that's been passed down from the mother and father, grandmother, grandfather. I mean, I think more than ever in society, we're witnessing family that receives inheritance from their parents when sadly they pass, that are millions and millions of dollars, which just, enriches people even more. I mean, the biggest challenge in life getting going is just getting your house, just getting, shelter, and getting your vehicle, just the basic beginnings of getting going. And that's what drives everybody to be wealthy is your freedom and the capability to be self-sufficient. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? Now, this is just so crazy. I saw this advertisement for these really nice four-liners. I ordered these things back like in December, maybe November. They just finally got here. I don't even know which car this is for. I ordered what I swear for my Gold Rush. I thought I did. And I think I ordered one for my daughter's Challenger RT. Pretty sure that's the Challenger RT because the black and red theme, I swear this has the red RT on it. I don't know. Just so many cars and so many things. So, but here's the thing about the car addictions, the vehicles we own. Yeah, I'm not so right on that, am I? Up front, just a little red there. Well, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, if that's an RT up front, and the grill has an RT, 392 red there. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Yeah, there you go. Told you. Yeah, so I thought that would be kind of good with this car here. Wow, it's just the cars. It's just, yeah, they getting trashed out here. They are. But here's the thing. We all know that the cars and vehicles that people own, you own, we own, radiate wealth. Anybody driving down the road and sees a guy driving Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Porsche, the first thing that you're kind of thinking about is that person is wealthy. Anybody who watches my channel, their assumptions are instantly, this guy's wealthy. A delivery guy shows up, any type of worker, anybody drives by my house, the immediate impression is this guy is extremely wealthy. It's because of the material things that you accumulate and have. And, what do you have? What if I had all old cars sitting around here and the property kind of looked into shambles? I don't think people would think I'm that wealthy. I think that they'd be more on page of this guy's probably got a ton of people living with him, and who knows what the circumstances are. If it was all old beater cars, they would probably look at my position of how much money I have versus I don't or do differently. And that's the thing about wealth. But what drives us to want the wealth? And I think I just said it. It's your freedom. And that's what you notice about people that are very wealthy. They seem to have a different attitude about how things work. They seem to have a different type of demeanor of who they are and how they talk to you and maybe how they treat you. And I've always have said that for so many years. I just never have wanted really the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the Porsches, the Mercedes, the BMWs. Don't take it wrong. Anybody out there that has those. But I just haven't really been on the page to have that high-end stuff, because I think then it radiates that, hey, this guy here is a rich-ass guy, wealthy as hell, and is he an arrogant? I mean, that kind of, I'm sure anybody here can kind of relate with that, is that people can take an assumption, if you do have nice things, that you may be arrogant, and you may be rude, brashish, you know what I mean? So that just kind of seems to go with that type of personality. But why is that? I mean, you look at the big media people, the big movie stars, the big athletes, they get these attitudes, and they get out there and they start running their mouth because they're so self-independent, so they're so rich. It doesn't matter if everybody hates their guts tomorrow morning, they're still going to have all their money. Versus if you work for somebody, you're in a position, you have customers, and you radiate that really arrogant type of attitude and view, that can possibly separate you in relationships that are usually financially connected. And that can possibly ruin your tomorrow's earnings versus today's earnings. It happens in relationships. The wealth in a relationship. How much wealth is your relationship? Is relationship constantly strained because of what, like I have? If you don't think this is a strain in a relationship, I think you're delusional. It's just very challenging for me as an individual being married to have all these things, and then yet the wife isn't very happy about that. Yes, extremely challenging. And I have a wife, thank God, that's stuck on my side for 27 plus years, and it hasn't been easy. And I just always say it's not forever. I always try to emphasize this is the fun days, and will this stuff last forever? It won't. I mean, very challenging. The only way it would is if I won the lotto. I mean, I just don't have the income where I can just really pay everything off and then everything's just perfect and great. It doesn't really work that way. It's all called obligations and payments and a lot of challenges and crazy at the same time. I'm just a crazy guy, and that's the facts. I mean, I'm not here to embellish or brag about myself. I'm just sharing with you that it's extremely challenging for what I do and how I pull it off. The car gods, the motorcycle gods, and where we are in today's society, with everything being so much more expensive. Here's the car talk. More than ever, people are signing off on huge car payments. Huge. The $739 car payment's the average now. The $1,000 car payment is 18 to 20% of the car payments now in the market. The expense of buying a car, as we all know, has gotten extremely expensive. The financing, but you just step back and think, golly, man, just how do people continue to afford all this expensive stuff? I mean, truly, you just scratch your head. But what's interesting is for Elon Musk, and that's the thing, who's the wealthiest man and person in this country, is Elon Musk in the world. And how did Elon Musk get to become so wealthy? I mean, it's such the catch-22. It's a double-edged sword with Elon Musk. I just can't emphasize enough on how the guy has become rich off the green agenda. Elon Musk is a perfect example of becoming extremely wealthy from the what-if future of mankind and the world plays out with cars. That's where he's made his fortune, even though most people say he doesn't have cars, he has computers. He's a computer company, which I don't disagree. He's an information company. That's what he is. So he has made himself incredibly wealthy through information. And isn't that something that you can look at in life is, don't you want to have a wealth of information? And Elon Musk has figured out how to create information to his advantage by putting cameras in everything he develops that records and tracks everything that the vehicle does, that you do, that's created his artificial intelligence. It's created his Optimus. It's created his Tesla self-driving cars. It's creating the Neuralink semiconductor super chip that you put in your brain. So this guy has a wealth of information. And that's what I said last year. I talked about Elon all the time of buying out X, as I think he really bought it for the information. That was a wealth of information, of video content, of just everything, journalism. And the thing is, I've talked about this as well, Scott Altman of OpenAI and Bill Gates are being sued by the likes of New York Times because they feel like they're taking all their journalism and content and enriching themselves into their artificial intelligence because of all the information, the wealth of information, excuse me, that's at the, any of us is within arm's reach of gathering a wealth of information today more than ever because of the internet. Because the internet has created just a wealth of unbelievable information. And so for Elon Musk, it's the same old story. This guy here has become rich off of you and I giving him access, just like Mark Zuckerberg. Here's another story of Mark Zuckerberg that was the pedophile, in my view, who's basically watching everything you do. He's spying on you. He's the neighborhood pervert that's watching everything you do on your Facebook and tracking you and selling all your information to make money off of you. Just beyond believable. He enriched himself, became one of the wealthiest guys in this country as well, from, in so many ways, taking your information. Stealing your information. Just incredible on where we are in today's society of individuals enriching themselves off of what you and I do in a private way, but they take it to use it in a public way. And so for Elon Musk and Tesla, here's an irony to what he's challenged with now. There's a whole article about how the smartest thing you can do when you go buy an electric vehicle, you don't buy it, you lease it. You lease it because you don't get exposed to the crazy trend of somebody like the Iceman that bought a $90,000 vehicle that's now worth $60,000 being an F-150 Lightning truck. He bought a Mustang Mach-E that he paid $74,000 for. He'd probably be lucky to get $44 for it at best. So these are huge losses of any vehicles I've bought in modern times. And it's just like, wow. So that conversation's about how Elon Musk is ruining his own product brand, where the companies that buy leases on Tesla for years, you could lease a Tesla for a very inexpensive 2-year, 3-year lease. And now that Elon Musk is discounting the heck out of all his vehicles, you're talking $30,000 discounts on cars within last year's time frame. And so it's killing the residual value of these leases. So for Tesla, he's kind of created his own problem for his leasing his cars. The people that bought into buying the leases, they're going to probably pay dearly, because if they had a residual value on a Model X at, let's just say, 80 or 90 grand, it's probably now going to be 60 or 70 at best. I'm just taking assumptions and guesses. So I'm thinking these banks are going to see $20,000, $30,000 losses, because it's all proportional to Elon Musk trying to stay competitive, because Elon Musk knows that BYD, Build Your Dream, is one of the biggest now electric vehicle manufacturers in the world in sales. And the gentleman that owns that company, that came from very small beginnings of making lithium batteries for Nokia and Motorola phones back in the late 90s, is now, catching up to Elon Musk in some ways to being one of the wealthiest men in the world as well. But once again, it's all based off of the green agenda. The green agenda. It's just incredible on how these the car companies today are being enriched more than ever by government entitlement. And that's what it is. Elon Musk became rich through government entitlement because of the government giving him money to get going. Yes, very challenging for him to keep it going, but there's now $7,500 immediate tax credit for you as an individual to buy an electric vehicle if it has enough if it doesn't have a lot of China components in that vehicle. You get a $7,500 or $3,500 tax credit immediately. That's the January 1st, new bill. The kid loves this. The kid's like, Dad, I just want to drive this. I'm like, right, I just want to drive the Wild Track. We'll just switch it up. She can drive the Raptor and I'll drive the Wild Track. I mean, that Wild Track, so much fun. I was riding around the Raptor yesterday. This thing is just such the blast. It's just great. Great Raptors, the Ford product, really happy with those. I'll eat my own words and they all start falling apart, right? And so anyways, so for Elon Musk, it's just a never-ending me talking about Elon Musk because he's the driving force of what's created this whole electric vehicle craziness in our country, in the world. And we all know the stories now, it's always about the media hyping up. We had a cold spell. All these electric vehicle people are in dire straits. And oh my God, it's so bad. It's so, like it's going to change the green agenda. It ain't going to change it. It's going to continue on. The U.S. Postal Service just shared how they're going to have like 46,000 or 64,000 charging stations or something like that. Or it's going to be like 64,000 postal vehicle workers that are going back. They're going to be, charged electric vehicles. It's all happening. Whether you want to accept it or not, the electric vehicle craziness isn't going to stop. It's not going to stop. And so, because the wealth of these governments, that's what you have to ask yourself. It's the wealth of this government that we're in, along with China, that's handing out billions of dollars to entice companies and people to get the green agenda movement even going further and faster than ever before. But what's so interesting is, if you read about China is in challenging times. China apparently is offering to help out their own stock market by putting $258 billion into the market to help kind of revive it. The real estate market over there isn't good. The economy isn't great. And you have to shake your head and say, but this is the country that back in the 2000 years that the government put out billions, if not trillions of dollars into their own economy to get the electric revolution going. But here it is so many years later, and they're not doing very well. And so you just have to look at our own country under Joe Biden that's wanting to hand out close to $1 trillion and all this electric infrastructure and great agenda. But at the end of the day, where are we? Where are we? I think it's even going to be worse on our fiscal year spending and the fiscal debt that we're in. That's beyond, the wealth of this country. What's the real wealth of our country? I mean, sincerely, I don't know. I'm just not that deep into the economics. I didn't go to college and study all this stuff. Some of you may be much more abreast and understand the fiscal responsibility of this country and how our government is just handing out money hand over fist, and it's not a big deal. It's all going to be beautiful at the end of the day, and the country's going to be so much richer, and everybody's going to be so much better off, but yet the wealth is being transferred. Yes, the wealth is being transferred in front of our eyes. And what I mean by that? Well, let's look at the illegal immigration. Let's look at what a huge challenge is in our country right now of so many people coming here because they truly feel like the wealth of this country is so substantial that it can afford to take care of everybody that has problems in their own country. And that's the message that the Joe Biden regime tells everybody, that just come to America. Just come to America. I got to get up here. My hand's freezing. It's cold. Come on, pups. Good boy. Good puppies. Get the heat on. Should have turned that on earlier, but I didn't. And hey, my dog's getting sick. That's great. He's going to be barfing in my... Oh, there we go. Nice. Oh, that's great. Hey, everybody. How's it going, right? Dog's sick. Dog's getting right. He probably ate something that he probably shouldn't eat. Poor boy. probably has something in there. You know, these stories with all the dogs. Hey, it's beautiful, right? Yeah, it's real. Hey, it's raw, as one of my subscribers said. Yeah, it's raw material, right? Yeah, you can just see it all. Hey, we'll get a little worried. Poor boy. So, anyways, has my dog's choking and hacking, and is he going to survive? I think he is. Yeah, the illegal immigration. Somebody's following the news. The U.S. Supreme Court, the justices have sided against Texas from trying to have barbed wire fence up to keep all the illegals out. I mean, it's beyond unbelievable of where we are in today's society. It's unbelievable how this country is so split. On one side, wants to let all these illegals in, and it's not a big deal. The other side is pounding their fists, saying this is a huge, huge problem. So, poor boy. Yeah, he's getting over it. I mean, so it's just incredible to witness that our own Supreme Court justices are supporting. And don't get me wrong, they're not per se by any means saying they're supporting illegal immigration. They're just saying, well, the way the state and the feds have to work with one another, the state of Texas doesn't have the right to overrule and do this to do that. I mean, it gets as usual. There's a lot of dynamics to it, but at the same time, it goes back to the wealth of our country. And obviously, it's being radiated throughout the world that Joe Biden, in this term, under his administration, this is an incredibly wealthy country that'll be more than happy to hand out monies to any of those that come here and let them live here with not working, and they're going to have food and shelter. And if you're a person in dire straits, I mean, what's the most important thing that you want in the wealth of your life is you want food and shelter. That's just the basics of life. And so if you're told that you can come from a country that's in dire straits and you can set up shop here, and you're going to be provided transportation and roof and shelter, and you're going to have this that you don't have to even work. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that these illegals have this great, deal per se, but at the same time, it's just the message of wealth of our country. And then what has irritated so many other world leaders back under Donald Trump's administration was he wasn't willing to just share all the wealth of our governing body and the tax monies to other countries' agendas that he didn't agree with. And so he pulled back on that. Does anybody remember how Trump really started hammering China and how he really went after them with the tariffs and trying to get it to be more of a level playing field? And you have to scratch your head. China's lost a lot of their manufacturing infrastructure from many companies being forced to change the dynamics of where they get their things made. You might see a lot more things made in Taiwan, Korea, Vietnam. I mean, if you really pay attention, hey, come on, get on back. Just go lay down. Everybody's all riled up. More than ever, I think that China's lost a lot of its U.S. business. And I've talked about it many times. BYD wants to get into this country, start selling electric cars. But under Donald Trump's high tariffs on cars built in China, it makes it much more challenging. And Joe Biden is keeping that same agenda all day long because he wants his green agenda to continue to grow and be an investment for everybody that's involved in building electric batteries. You know, you've seen how Cummins and Freightliner and PACCAR are now building a $2 billion battery plant for the future of electric trucks and buses. And that's supposed to open up like in 2026 or 7. And so they're all on the page of becoming wealthier through this electric infrastructure. And once again, it's the wealth of this administration that's handing out billions of dollars for companies to set up shop here and to enable them to be able to become wealthier. That's the whole idea, right? Isn't it the whole idea that you want to become wealthier when you start a business, that you're going to make money and you're going to hopefully enrich yourself? Isn't that the whole ball game? Look at the Dow. The Dow's crazy. Stock market's crazy. It's crazy. What's going on? And just wow. For me, I feel like wow. I got rid of all my stock back 2 years ago. Really, I didn't have much. Thinking, yeah, the market's really going to kind of tank. How wrong was I on that? Huge wrong. Huge. I didn't have a lot in the market. I should have kept it. Would have been huge monies, but at the same time, good Lord. Well, I had Ford stock, so you can see what they've done with that. That stock tanked. Now, Tesla, or Tesla person, it's been up and down, around, all around. And they're saying, some people, with this Kathy Wood, is saying you're going to become wealthier if you don't, you're going to become very wealthy if you buy into Tesla stock. I mean, so wow. So here's something to think about. Over there now in the Red Sea, you're hearing now about how we're in war with the Yemen, what's it, Houthi? I don't even know how to pronounce it correctly. The Shaltis, all these radical Islamic religious groups that have evolved over the years over there in Yemen, in Saudi Arabia, and whether you realize or not, we've been at war. We've been participating with Saudi Arabia in fighting a war against these religious Islamic radical groups for since 2015. You may not realize that. That's just now kind of going up more than ever. If you're hearing about the Red Sea, the entrance or the exit to the Red Sea is where Yemen is. And it's where all these radical Islamic groups like Houthi, I don't think I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's now creating havoc in the shipping. And here's the news. The wealth of these shipping guys is going through the roof because they're now jacking their shipping rates through the roof because they're having to go a different route in order to get their goods around the world. And it's now interrupting the oil. And it's just incredible how we right now over in the Middle East, and for the most part, which Iran is backing these radical Islamic groups, and we're now, for the most part, we have been at war with Iran, unbeknownst to most people, through the Yemen, Saudi Arabia war, but it's even more being talked about because now these guys are trying to blow up ships and create economic havoc for us in the world because they're not happy with how things are being handled in Yemen and how the Saudi Arabia tries to control them. It gets all very lengthy and deep, but you should really look it up if you want to find out what's really going on over there. But here's what's interesting. So far, 25,000 Palestinians have died over there in the Israel-Gaza war. Now it's going to Lebanon. And people are getting very concerned in Lebanon because they feel like the war is now spilling further over out of Israel. So that's very concerning. Then you've got the Ukraine-Russia war. And it's just incredible how the wealth that's been created by these wars. I just don't think the average person is paying attention. The wealth of the Ukraine-Russia war that made the oil traders, you're going now 2 years ago, of when the Russia war, Ukraine war started. And how everybody's saying that with Russia being taken out of the OPEC world market, a bunch of malarkey, it drove the barrel of oil close to $120 a barrel for no reason. There was never a shortage. And then Joe Biden released all of our strategic petroleum reserves, majority of it, into the world market to try to simmer down the pricing, to get it down lower. When now the talk is, in so many ways, the world oil is, there's too much of it in the market. And so the Russia thing never played out the way it was. And also, people realize, is here on our own domestic side, the lithium or the natural gas, that industry has exploded. We're exporting more natural gas to Europe and to the Middle East, I guess, India. I could be wrong on that, but somewhat. Whole point is this country's domestic energy side has enriched itself more than ever under Joe Biden. It's been a windfall because of all these wars that we've now, have kind of been part of. And so for Russia, cutting off the natural gas into Europe, that was a windfall for this country to make more and ship it overseas. And it's huge. And it's record profits. I've talked about the coal. I went to and sold my steps off my Tremor truck that I bought out there and put the E-steps on it. I went to a guy in Baltimore and met the guy that runs a coal shipping operation. And he said the amount of coal this country is producing right now and exporting is huge. It's massive. So under Joe Biden, people don't understand big business, big fossil fuels has made more money in record profits ever in modern times. And yet you'll have the green agenda, Joe Biden, yippee yahoo person promoting how great Joe Biden is and how he's doing such a great job of managing his country and everything about it. But it's like, but the fossil fuel industry is at its highest peak of making production again and making record profits, and auto companies, and the list goes on and on again. But here's the real kicker. For Sean Fay, if I remember right, his freaking name, the union buster guy, the guy with the hard knuckles that tells you what he's going to do to you if you don't abide by his union rules, they're now making fun of him because they're saying now a lot of these union people are being laid off. Are you hearing these stories? That a lot of these manufacturing plants are now getting challenged because of all the new, updating the factories, the new California guidelines and laws, and blah, blah, blah. And the list goes on and on and on. But they're saying that a lot of union people are now being idled. But are they getting paid? I don't know. It gets, yeah. All right, that's it. I'm going to, I try to keep these things a little shorter. I'll talk too much. So what plays out? Do I get the Harley Pan America? I don't know. I need to ride it. Do I get the Tiger? I mean, I just think the Triumph product's a better product. I just think the Triumph's a bigger market, bigger product. I think that I want to trade it in 2-3 years from now. It still has decent value. I just think, it's more relationship. That's what it really is. A lot of people don't understand this. A lot of things that I want to buy, but I just don't have the same relationship. If I trade in one of my motorcycles to a Harley dealership, Harley can't sell anything but Harley. So the value of your trade, if it's not a Harley, it's really bad. It's really bad. So what am I going to give up for Pan America? My CVO Road Glide? Yeah. Okay, maybe I get the CVO Pan America. But the value of my CVO Road Glide, I guarantee that thing is worth $35,000 at best. I guarantee it. That was a $45,000 motorcycle. I can guarantee you 35 at best, if not 32 or 33 now. I'm sure I'll have to ask just for giggles to find out. So the Pan America, I just don't think it's going to play out because the numbers aren't going to work. It's not going to be favorable to me. So, but me, you never know. And then the tractor, is the tractor deal play out? I don't know. Have to see if my guy reaches out to me this morning to come check out my tractor and see if he has good value on it and see how that all plays out as well. So that's it. Leave it at that. The wealth of I was wanting to say one thing. I was wanting to read you the definition of wealth. So the definition of wealth depends on who you ask. Some people say wealth is purely monetary. It's what money can buy. Others believe it goes well beyond cash in the bank and has mostly to do with feelings of freedom and flexibility. I think that hits it on the head. Your own wealth really is when you feel good about your job, your life, and you feel that you can voice your views and ideas and opinions, and you feel good about that, and you stay strong with that, and you have the financial resources and don't have to be controlled by others, and that's what it's all about. Don't sell your soul. You have no idea. I've worked some different companies, and I left a very good job because the owner was wanting me to sell my soul. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. And I left a very good job. And I went through dire straits after leaving that job. I just know the owner always thought I'd come back and beg for that job. There's like no way in hell would I ever come back to you ever again because I ain't selling my soul. So don't sell your soul. So everybody, hey, have a great day. Stay tuned for more adventures on Ice Age TV. Have a great day. God bless.